Hey guys, Ari Henning from Motorcyclist Magazine, MC Garage, and On Two Wheels, and I am here with my beloved little RC390 race bike. Pretty much every time we've posted anything to social media or YouTube, you guys have asked for a walk-around video of this bike. You want to know what's been done to it, what parts work, how the bike is functioning now. So we're giving you that video right now. I love lightweight, small bikes on the track. I think it's a lot more fun to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow. And at the track, the first thing I noticed was that the brakes weren't very good and the suspension was not very good. So to address that stuff, I reached out to my friend David Barrand at Fast Bike Industries, and he set this bike up with an Andreani fork kit. So it pulls out the stock internals, it puts in 20mm cartridges for compression and rebound. I sprung it for my weight, and I matched that with a JRI shock with a remote reservoir. So I've got matched spring rates for my weight, and I've got damping that is fully adjustable so that I can make the bike handle the way I want it to. In regards to the brakes, I started off by removing the ABS. I plumbed directly from the master cylinder down to the calipers, bypassing the ABS system entirely. I also upgraded the brake pads to EBC HH pads. They've got good bite, they last a long time, they've got good progressive feel. I did recently upgrade the brake rotor to the 320mm wave rotor that comes in the Cup bike. The stock rotor is 300mm, so by increasing the disc, you're getting a little more leverage on the brakes, so you've got more stopping power. More recently, I replaced the master cylinder with a Magura HC1. It's about a $270 part, which is kind of pricey, but I was real keen to experiment with it. It's radial, it's got an adjustable lever, and that package right there has totally upgraded the brakes. You'll notice it's in full race trim from Tyga, and I got it through Formula 390 here in the States. It's actually pretty affordable, and it's pretty well made. I like it. It's got that pretty trick tail section. It's all lean and mean. And I've always kind of wanted to run it without the side fairings, with just the nose cowl and the belly pan. I thought that would look pretty cool, show the trellis frame, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. It's got a Mivv exhaust I got through Man in the Box in Knoxville, Tennessee. He imports that stuff from Europe, and it is a trick little system. You'll notice that it has a custom hanger manufactured by me. The Mivv pipe, I was actually dragging a lot. I dragged through the elbow and had to have it welded. And at the same time that I had it repaired, I had a small section taken out of the S-bend to tuck the pipe in against the swing arm so I could have more cornering clearance. The suspension also, I should point out, has been lengthened. So the shock is longer than stock and the forks have been slid down in the triple clamp. That's to get the bike up off the ground to add cornering clearance, and also makes it transition from side to side a lot faster. In terms of tires, I have tried so many options out there. Far and away the best tires are the Pirellis, but they are really expensive, and at my local track they wear very quickly. So I've been working with Bridgestone a lot. I've got an R10 on the front, it's a soft, and I have a slick on the back. You'll notice there are massive chicken strips. As far as I know, that's not because I suck and I can't drag knee, it's because that tire is too wide for the rim. It's a 165, it's a VO2 250 GP tire, but you just end up with a little bit of unused tire on the shoulder, which, you know, besides people making fun of you, doesn't matter, it works great. The KTM runs really lean from the factory. It runs hot from the factory. In order to address that and to help tune for the exhaust that I put on, I've got a Power Commander 5. That has allowed me to tune the fueling and the ignition. I'm a big proponent of adding a piggyback fuel controller anytime you're doing intake or exhaust mods. It also allowed me to put a quickshifter on, which I'm a huge fan of. If you've never used a quickshifter, they will totally spoil you. They're a blast. It allows you to upshift without closing the throttle. So wide open, you just bang the shifter, it interrupts the ignition briefly and allows it to slip into the next gear. And on the track, it's just one of those features that not only is fun to use, but it also helps you accelerate faster, and it allows you to not worry about closing the throttle or airing the clutch. So it's a really cool feature, and it's something I love putting on my motorcycles. I haven't done anything to the head, anything performance-wise in the engine. The only thing I've done to the engine is work on it a lot. I have had a fair number of problems with this bike, like a lot of people who race the RC390. I've blown head gaskets, I've had valve clearance issues. I've spent a lot of time working on this bike, but this weekend it's been working great. I won 4 races over the last 2 days, and when the bike's working well, it works really well, and I have a blast on it. In fact, I set the track record at this track, Sonoma, last year, and if you haven't seen that video, we've got some great onboard video, and we will put a link for you right up there. Ergonomics are always an issue when you try and take a street bike to the track. You're dragging foot pegs, the handlebars are too high, all sorts of stuff like that. So to address that, I put Tyga rear sets on. They're the same company Formula 390 that supplied the bodywork. They're importing stuff from I think Thailand or Malaysia, and it's all really affordable and it's really good quality. I think those rear sets were under $200, which compared to a lot of other options on the market, it's like half the price you'd expect to pay. Other things I've done to the bike, I've added Stomp grip to the tank. That's pretty common, to add some grip so you can grip it with your knees. And I've done a lot of stuff to the cockpit. One of the favorite mods I did is something really simple. It's a Moion Pro quick turn throttle. It's their Rev2 throttle with interchangeable reels. I like the way it looks. I like the way it works. I like the fact that I was able to buy a switch cluster to eliminate the stock ignition, so the cockpit is really clean. It's also got a driven machined aluminum top triple clamp and driven clip-ons. With those clip-ons, I was able to lower the grip position quite a bit so that I could get more weight over the front of the bike, which is my style. It's the way I like to ride a sport bike. Another thing I added to the dash is a Trailtech TTO thermometer. I've got a little probe sticking in the radiator so I can monitor the coolant temperature, because the stock thermostat kind of sucks. It's a bar graph, you can't really tell what's going on. So I keep an eye on that thing. Kind of gives you a heads up if your motor's running hot, which these bikes do tend to do quite a bit. Beyond that, I've got crash protection, because that does occasionally happen. Thankfully, it hasn't happened to me yet. But from T-Rex Racing, I've got the frame sliders, I've got the factory KTM engine covers, and of course, I've got the front axle sliders as well. At the rear axle, I've got Fast Frank axle blocks. They're machined from aluminum. The stock ones are cast. They're really sloppy. It's really hard to tell what your chain position is, but these ones are precision and they fit really tight. And then I've also got Fast Frank captured wheel spacers, which are super handy when you're changing your wheels. You don't have to worry about the spacers falling out. They're also made from aluminum instead of steel, so they save a bit of weight. Speaking of weight, I've pulled a lot of parts off of this bike. Obviously, no headlight, no turn signals, no horn, no radiator fan. I've basically removed everything that I don't need to race it, and all of that has allowed me to get the weight down below 300 pounds. So this bike is very lightweight, and on our dyno, it's making about 41, 42 horsepower. So those two things combined, lightweight and that good power with awesome torque, makes this thing super fun to ride. And with the suspension set up the way I have it, and with the brakes upgraded and everything, it's a real joy to rip around a racetrack. So, you guys asked for it. You wanted a walk-around vid of the little RC390. Hopefully this answers all of your questions, although I'm sure there will be more, in which case, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer them.